Hello there. I'm back. I don't think I've made a video for about a year now, but I'm back because there is a topic that has been coming up in my life repeatedly and also in the lives of some other people that I know. So I'm thinking it sounds like a common thread. So if you wouldn't mind when this video is over, putting some comments and letting me know what you think, if you've experienced it or what you think about what I'm saying, that would be great. Okay, I just like the connections and hearing what others are thinking and feeling too. So the topic is feelings. That is the topic, feelings. Um, there on the internet has been because I'm on social media, um, and there's been just a lot of talk about feelings all the time, and people are living their lives according to how they feel, making decisions based upon feelings. And I'm going to tell you that that's a bad idea. And I'm noticing the younger generation, probably the 20-year-olds, maybe to mid to late 30-year-olds, seem to be dealing with this a lot more. And the internet, in my opinion, is what's fueling this, pushing it along, giving it steam. I'm on social media. I see many comments about things like, if someone upsets you, cut them out your life. Let people go. Don't deal with people who, aren't on the same page as you. Stop talking to folks who don't think like you think. Ooh, bad, bad, bad advice. Really bad advice. But the thing is, it's on the internet constantly. I see it every day. It wasn't a one time thing. I don't know if you know this or not, but there's something called propaganda. Propaganda is when someone pushes an agenda. And so it has been proven throughout history. It's not a one time deal. Throughout history, that if a person sees something enough or hears something enough, it will affect the way they think and feel. And so if you're constantly looking at social media and it's constantly saying, cut people out your life, stop talking to someone who, if they don't agree with you, if you're on different pages, you don't need them. If you see that every day, all day, you will be subject to believe it, especially if you're in your 20s, you haven't had much life experience as an adult yet. But that's bad advice. Okay, and I will explain why later. And also, I'm going to back it up with some biblical scriptures towards the end. Um, but it's concerning me because I have even lost some relationships with family members who I have loved from the moment they were born, who will no longer talk to me because of one thing that was said or something that was taken out of context. Sometimes I didn't even say anything. I just got lumped along with other folks. And I'm just mind boggled that the relationship is severed and over without ever even having a conversation. This is not okay. This is detrimental. The things that we do affect others, right? So some of these people even have children, and so it affects their children. We're talking generational things that are going on because of bad advice that people are constantly seeing and reading and hearing repeatedly on the internet. So discernment is very important. Knowing when something applies to you and when it doesn't. Knowing when something makes sense and when it doesn't. Knowing how to employ logic and biblical principles, which a lot of people don't even know what biblical principles are, but even logic is kind of flying out the window. We're living our lives based on feelings. It's bad advice. Okay. One reason why it's bad is because our feelings are fleeting, they're constantly changing. I feel one way in the morning after I've had my cup of coffee versus before I've had my coffee. I feel differently after I've taken a nice long walk versus how I feel if I haven't had lunch and I'm now hangry, as they call it, angry and hungry mixed together. Um, I feel differently at the end of the day when I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm ready for bed versus when I'm watching a comedy movie. Our feelings change constantly. So to be basing relationships and basing life decisions on how I feel right now is bad advice, right? So right now, let me give an example. Talk to your young people. I see it all the time. I work at a school. Someone says something I don't like, um, and then I bang them upside their head because they said something I don't like. Because that's how I felt. I didn't like the way I felt when they said that. Okay, so now, you get a little older, you'll get arrested. You might get put in jail. You might have to stand before a judge. You might have to pay medical expenses for people. Other people might look at you differently. You might sever relationships, all because in the instance you were angry about something or you felt some type of way. That's a very common term that I hear a lot too. I felt some type of way. I didn't like how I felt. She did this. He did that. I was feeling like this. What we have to start doing and teaching our young people, more importantly, is to think with logic and to think just with common sense, um, and to think about what the actions, what our actions might bring about. So I keep mentioning the word logic, right? So logic means a proper or reasonable way of thinking, a proper or a reasonable way or manner of thinking and living. Logic. If I hit you, I'm going to be in trouble. Do I really need to hit you because I'm mad at you right now? And then next week we'll be friends. We'll talk it out and we'll be friends again. Right? I see that all the time too. So our feelings are fleeting. What we need to do is think more about logic. What makes more sense? The things we do will affect us. I'm saying this because I see the younger generations, the 20-year-olds, so maybe the people in their mid to late 30s, seem to really be on this page where everything is about how you feel instead of logical. No, we have to think about if this, then that. Now, if you have children who've been in school, I teach school and we teach this strategy. If this, then that. That's logic. If I do this, then that will happen, right? If I water my plant, then it will grow. You can, plug in whatever you want to the if then this that, but it's just logic. It's taking a minute to slow down and think. So severing relationships because someone says something you don't like is not necessarily the best advice. So there's a disclaimer to that, right? If someone is being abusive to you and out to hurt you and, generally doesn't like you, what have you, then yes, you may need to exclude some people from your life. But excluding people from your life because right now you're mad in the moment, just give yourself a moment. When you're feeling more calm, have a conversation. This is what adults do. We converse, not make rash decisions. Um, it's important to think about, our young people. When you're in your 20s, the way you set up your 20s will forever affect your life. For those of us who are a little bit older, I call myself in the auntie phase. My cousins and I were laughing about that one day. Like, how did we become the aunties at the cookout? How did that? When did that happen? So now we're the aunties, but I thank God for it, and I'm here to be the auntie. Um, but the way we set our lives up in our young years, in our 20s, especially how we learn to deal with our relationships can determine whether or not we ever get married. It can determine or not how much money we make. It will determine what kind of parent we'll be. It can determine where we're going to live. It can determine so much in those young years. And if you're out of your 20s, like I am, think about it. Apply what I just said. Just think about your own life for a minute. Does it make sense? Do you wish somebody had told you all that when you were 20? And maybe somebody did. I don't know. But if someone told you the decisions that you're making now are going to affect you for the rest of your life, would you look at it different? Would you go, right? That auntie that is maybe annoying you, or your mom or dad, if they're giving you advice and you just think you know it all, that's a problem, right? You don't have to do everything someone tells you to do. That's not what this conversation is. But being open, if someone does something to offend you, have a conversation first. If it continues, you'll, as an adult, know whether or not to exclude this person from your life. But just because someone says something to you, first of all, why is it so offensive, right? We need to ask ourselves, why am I so offended by that? Truth sometimes hurts. Secondly, No one knows that. Listen to that advice. These people are older than you. They've already lived their life. Sometimes a person who has lived a messed up life can give you good advice on what not to do, so you don't end up like them. And sometimes people who look like they have it going on can give you good advice so that you too can rise to whatever situation you're hoping for in life. Don't cut people out over how you feel right now in the moment. I personally think that's really bad advice that's been going around, and a lot of people think they're right. These young people think they're right when they cut out their family members and their friends. However, you go to work and you're smiling at your coworkers. Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. But you're not speaking to your own mother and father because when you were 8, they got a divorce and you didn't like that. You're not a perfect parent. None of us are. None of us want to be perfect people. You still want to be accepted. So, if the other thing to consider is that we all come with different experiences in life. So something that might upset you may not upset someone else. That's very common. I could crack a joke and think it's hilarious, and it might hurt you. It might take you back to something traumatic that happened to you. And I have no idea. Now you're mad or you're hurt. I don't know. I'm not intentionally trying to hurt you. You don't have to tell anyone all your personal business, but you could have a conversation. Hey, I don't like that topic. I didn't like it when you said this. Have just adult conversations. We have got to grow up and get back to respecting each other, being there for each other, um, not taking everything that's on the internet seriously and repeating everything we hear. Yeah, yeah, stop talking to folks when you don't like something. Yeah, they have no right talking to you, telling you what to do with your kids. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. If someone sees something that's not going quite right, yeah, they do have a right to step in and help out. Yes, they do. They do. You don't have to listen to every bit of advice, but be open. It's part of just living in the world. People aren't always out to get you and hurt you and take something from you. Sometimes people genuinely care. Listen to the person who's giving the advice. If it's someone who's always been in your life and they love you, then why are you so angry about it, right? Sometimes we have to look at ourselves and not always blame everybody else. So I said I had some biblical scripture for that, and I do. I did not memorize them, but I do have them here. So I'm using the NIV version, and the NIV version is very plain. Okay. Um, so this is Proverbs. I love the book of Proverbs. Proverbs was written by King Solomon, and King Solomon is the wisest man who ever lived. It's not Einstein. It's King Solomon. And the reason, outside of Jesus, of course, but the reason Einstein, I'm sorry, the reason King Solomon was the wisest man who ever lived is because he asked God to give him wisdom. And God gave it to him. And the Bible tells us the same thing. If you ask for wisdom, God will give it to you. You want to start your new business, don't know how? Ask for wisdom. You want to start traveling, you see people traveling all over, you want to do it too, you don't know how? Ask for wisdom. You having trouble with your children, you know what to do with them? Ask for wisdom. But when God sends you the wisdom, you can't push them away because you keep seeing the internet say that you should do it all on your own and people don't know what they're talking about. And you have to be open and listen to the wisdom when it comes because God uses people too to help us. So I read the book of Proverbs sometimes just for myself because it's full of advice on how about life, about friendships, loaning money, investing money, just how to live your life, how to get along with people, all sorts of things. It's just full of great advice. So Proverbs 8 and 33. Listen to my instruction and be wise. Do not disregard it. Okay. Listen to, and I'm not saying listen to my instruction, listen to the Bible's instruction. That's what that means. Another one is Proverbs 10 and 17. Whoever heeds discipline shows the way to life, but whoever ignores correction leads others astray. Whoever heeds discipline shows the way to life, but whoever ignores correction leads others astray. So if you have discipline in your life, you get up, you go to work, you do things you don't feel like doing because you know the outcome is going to be worth it. It shows the way to life. You're going to have the things in life that you want and aspire. However, if you ignore correction, you're going to lead yourself and other people astray, including your children, because no one can tell you anything. Proverbs 12 and 1. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid. That's what it says. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid. So anybody who thinks that they don't need correction, or that they're always right, or that they never do anything wrong, that's a problem, because wise people know they don't know everything. There's no way to know everything. Anyone who thinks they know it all is actually the opposite. Okay, that is the end of my video. I hope that it makes sense, and maybe you can leave me some comments, or we can have like a discussion. And if you've been noticing the same types of experiences that I've had, so that I know I'm not alone. Thank you. God bless.